Where do we even start with Michigan? Where do we start with these guys?
I think Michigan has more new coach immediate upside because of what they return and because of what they bring in recruiting class-wise and where their starting point is roster-wise. I think Michigan, with a tougher schedule,
I like Michigan.
I think has more encouraging elements.
9-4 a year ago, they lost the bowl game to Texas. Sharon Moore fired with cause. Kyle Whittingham, formerly of Utah, basically fell off the back of a truck. Landed on his feet in Ann Arbor. He brought with him Jason Beck from Utah, who was the offensive coordinator. Jim Harding, who was his longtime offensive line coach at Utah. He also poached Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator from BYU.
Awesome. Yeah.
Great signing. Michigan is 20th nationally in returning production. Clearly not the easiest schedule, but there are a bunch of home games. I think there's 8 home games, if I counted correctly. I also think on the whole, this will be, to your point, a net positive for the football program. Like, obviously, the way the whole Sharon Moore thing went down is not good for anyone. But from a football standpoint, even before everything blew up, we had people writing in saying, we're not sure how long this Sharon Moore thing's going to last.
Right.
It feels like maybe he's a bit out over his skis. We're not going to get those emails about Kyle Whittingham. It might not go according to the grand plans, but Kyle Whittingham's an accomplished coach. He's an adult in the room. He knows what he's doing. I view this as a coaching upgrade. Would you agree with that?
Yes, easily.
I think 1,000%. It is not a talent question for me this year with Michigan. It's an assembly question. And what I mean by that is that Whit sort of made his mark at Utah by developing really tough guys in the trenches, playing a really physical brand of football. At a minimum, we'd start this year assuming Utah was like what? A top 15, top 20 caliber team if he were still coaching, right? We might still be there with a different coach.
Sure. Yeah.
He's been great at meeting those types of expectations, but the bar's higher now, and he's going to need to exceed that. And it's not going to be long before Michigan fans, I think, are there as well. I think he will put together a very physical offense. I think the running backs here will be obvious benefactors of that. But how he assembles the pieces and how he puts together a better version of what he had at Utah, that's going to be the big question this year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. How is he getting more out of the philosophies that have been really, really good to him over his long career as a head coach while he was out there at Utah?
Right. That's all reasonable. What he has to work with is pretty good. Right now, with the experienced offensive line, if it all sort of starts up front with Jason Beck and Kyle Whittingham together, the offensive linemen who came back and who are added to the rotation. I know they have Babalola, who got hurt last year, the former 5-star, a lot of promise, could be a starting tackle. They have options to kick tackles inside. Like there are options for this offensive line. The running back duo should be very good to great.
Man, Jordan Marshall had a good year last year.
And then you add in Hiter, the freshman.
Yeah, Savion Hiter, 5-star freshman.
Looks really real, man.
Absolutely. Everybody has been talking this guy up. And, in a world in which now the line gets better. I think there's a chance the line could improve.
Sure.
Jim Harding's got a long track record for being a really good offensive line coach, putting guys in the league. They put 2 guys in the
tackles.
NFL just last year,
yep.
Right? Like, I would expect Utah to be very present in this version of Michigan football, at least on offense, where we're going to see physical bully ball. We're going to see a really good offensive line. Bigger picture, I like that setup for Bryce Underwood. I think there'll be enough balance around him that he'll have time to develop. It won't all be on his right arm. This is going to be the identity of this offense, and it's going to be very similar to what we saw while Whit was still out at Utah.
Right. There's a good amount to like that if the running attack is working, that they have options to throw to. You know, the addition of J.J. Buchanan, Andrew Marsh obviously emerged last season, disappeared in that Ohio State game. You know, I don't think he had a catch in that game, but with where they are now, it seems like their pass catching options, even though it's not obvious at tight end, because I think JJ Buchanan is sort of a bigger slot type, hybrid type.
He's going to give teams fits. I love that. I love that move for them.
But tight ends develop, under Kyle Whittingham and, his intentions on offense, whatever they are as a defensive guy. Now the question to me is what is the specific kind of usage that Jason Beck gets out of Bryce Underwood?
Well, that's
it, right? Does
he
have an understanding of what Bryce Underwood is into? Right? And hide what he's not into.
Are we speed dating here? What are we talking about? No.
Kind of.
Can Kyle Whittingham develop a blue chip quarterback?
Right.
Let's just get it out in the open. Can he do it? Because he doesn't have a great track record for that.
Or does he have the stomach to take risks downfield, taking chances? They did a better job last year.
No.
With Devin Dampier, but that was bringing in a new offensive coordinator. That was, even Devin Dampier is not a polished passer downfield, but they had more of an appetite, it seemed, than usual last season. And it paid off basically 10, 11 out of 12 weeks.
My perhaps irrational fear is that Jason Beck is going to turn Bryce Underwood into Devin Dampier 2.0.
Okay. Would that be so bad?
I just feel like he's got more to give.
Okay.
Like, we know for sure, just based on what they have said publicly, we know for sure that Bryce Underwood's going to be put on the run a little bit more. And so you can see how that fits into this offense. If you're going to build this physical brand of rushing attack, football, bully teams, Bryce Underwood can move. You can put him on the run too. That's another guy that the defense has to account for on the ground.
Sure.
Obviously, if he can throw, if they can improve his passing, there's a lot to like there. But I don't feel like we saw Devin Dampier take huge strides as a passer. I remember having conversations.
He was pretty beat up, but yeah. And Bryce Underwood was a freshman last year.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how they use him as well. I do think we will see him on the run more. I do think they'll get him outside the pocket and put him in situations where the defense has to make a choice. Are you going to go after Bryce Underwood? Are you going to drop back into coverage? I think stuff like that is going to work and is going to be very present in this offense. Again, he was a freshman last year. Mechanically, he's still working through some of his issues, trying to get everything in sync. I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's throwing 35 times a game, and I like that. I think that's a beneficial system for him. They will definitely work to try and get him some easier throws. Maybe that can aid his progression. But longer term, you got to see the progression. And I'm a little leery of that, to be honest with you. I like that he's got Andrew Marsh. I like JJ Buchanan. Like, I love the talent around him on offense. I'm just, for the same reasons maybe that you're a bit hesitant to throw your hat fully in on the whole Matt Campbell experience. And, you look at his track record and what Iowa State was. I like
Matt Campbell.
It didn't sound to me like you did, but that's fine.
All I was saying is, like, is Micah Parsons on that team? Is Abdul Carter? Is there like this year's Abdul Carter?
Whittingham, bit of a track record for not getting the most out of quarterbacks like this. He's never had a quarterback like this.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. So that part of the development here of this program is
totally agree.
I'm a little bit worried about. On defense, I feel good about the defense as well. I got a big question at linebacker where they're kind of unproven.
Yeah, they lost a lot.
But Jay Hill is kind of a trusted hand. He won't ask those guys to do too much too soon. This is a defense that's very multiple, a lot of variability in how they create pressure, how they disguise coverages. Linebackers obviously at the heart of that. We'll see what they do in week 2 when Oklahoma comes to town. But otherwise, I feel pretty good about
secondary's in great shape, by the way.
Yeah, they're in great shape. They're really in great shape. And I like them up front. John Henry Daly, who comes over from Utah, is, I think, going to be an instant boost for that defensive line.
If his Achilles works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Important.
Listen, if somebody were like, Dan's a great dude for this rec league basketball game, provided his Achilles has recovered, I'd be like, I wouldn't count on Dan for this rec league basketball game.
I am going to hold out hope.
I'm hoping too, because he's a terrific talent, but that's a not insignificant asterisk there. Yeah, Michigan's problem is all like, if you're going to oversimplify it, what we talk about, like the drive to 6.
Oh.
What's the path to 28 against Oklahoma, Iowa, Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State?
And Indiana.
Excuse me, and Indiana.
Yeah.
So whatever that magic number is, obviously it can come down if the defense is great. It's a sliding scale. But what kind of confidence do you have that they have 3 touchdowns on offense every week that they play those types of teams? That to me is, if you're going to oversimplify the year, wherever the winter wondery comes from at receiver, wherever the star power at, up front with some new names and faces, great. I'm good with all those questions. But oversimplifying it, 3.5 touchdowns against those teams. Where are they coming from?
Schedule's brutal.
It's real tough.
Schedule's brutal. It really is brutal. Week 2 against Oklahoma at home in the Big House, I think is going to tell us a lot. Whether or not, again, on defense, they can get everything installed by then. Whether the line, the ground game that I was trumpeting earlier can kind of come to play in a game like that. Very early in the season, Oklahoma should be pretty good. We'll talk about them a bit on our next few episodes. That game against Oklahoma in week 2, I think, is a pretty big deal. Very big deal.
Agree. Also, huge trapportunity for the Fighting Bruins of UCLA.
Yes.
Get Michigan between road spots in Eugene and Columbus. Come on, Bobby C. Make that a fun game.
9-3 Michigan for me.
What did I write down? I wrote down at the end of my chicken scratch 8-4 and 9-3 with the uptick of Underwood's arm.
Okay.
Barely English, but yeah, they have 9-3. If you're like, oh, he's gotten better. This is an offense that is well suited for him. This all makes sense. They're a 9-3 team. Thanks for watching, and thank you for at least considering subscribing to the channel. It means a ton.